Someone asked me recently, what would I do if I had to start all over again? And this took me back to 2019 when I had 5,000 Instagram followers. I've now got 150,000, and that's a 2,900% increase in just those few short years. So what would I have done differently with what I know now if I could go all the way back to 2008 when I first started? Don't forget to stay to the end because I'm bringing in a social media expert, happens to also be my wife, who helped me grow my Instagram following so quickly. She's also got something special that you can sign up to at the end that's going to be a real game changer. So before I reveal what I would do if I was to start today again, I want to reveal the biggest thing that held me back in the first place. And this all happened from a belief which I've seen many people do, which is that you've already missed the boat. So every time I would see a big Instagram account, or I remember talking to Tijon Esho about his account and how he started on Instagram, I remember thinking, oh, that's his secret. He just started when it was easy. And I think humans do this a lot. We look for people who are doing well, and we look for the excuse, the thing that made it easy for them. And you think, well, that doesn't apply to me, so then I don't have to try. This was the biggest mistake that I made because I had no idea actually what I needed to do was just really go for it. If there's still some part of you that thinks this might all be a little bit too little too late to start now, I'm interested to hear whether there are any accounts that are actually growing really fast now that have started very recently.
Well, I launched my course 2 years ago. One of my best students, Eliza, she's an injector in the UK. It's been beautiful to watch her. She started and she came onto the groups and she says, oh my goodness, I'm getting a response. And then I was like, wow, you go girl. And then a few months later, it was like, wow, I'm getting loads of clients. Then a few months later, wow, my husband really sees the potential in this and he's wanting me to build out a clinic. Then a few months later, wow, I've quit the NHS. A few months later, just a few weeks ago, she's going to Disneyland with her kids because she's built that life over 2 years. And how did she do it? She has that abundance mindset. She doesn't have the limiting beliefs that maybe she's missed the boat.
So if I look back at my Instagram account when it was growing really slowly and had a small number of followings, I was actually producing content in a really different way. The biggest difference was that I was essentially just saying things that I thought were interesting, notable things in my life. Oh, well, look, I got a new car. I've had some children. I'm having a meal out. And all these things were kind of letting people know that I had some sort of life. But it was really all about me and my life and nothing about the problems that they were trying to solve. The biggest shift was to start talking about how to solve problems that I knew the people were facing who were just a little bit behind me. And there's a great saying which I think about quite often, which is that you should be helping the people who were you 5 years ago. So if you think about your approach to medical aesthetics before you'd even thought about having a treatment, you've probably had a treatment now if you're working in the industry, there are lots of things you had to go through in order to become brave enough to have your first Botox injection. And the questions that you had to answer in order to get to that point are the questions that make for great marketing. So let's look back at my page and look at one of the best performing pieces of content and dissect why it's worked so well with our marketing director and my wife, Miranda Pierce. So Miranda, tell us about this piece of content and why you think it's done particularly well.
The first reason is that it's incredibly attention grabbing. And I think a lot of people watching this here now can learn from this because as clinicians, often we don't want to be the center of attention. We feel like we ought to be sort of measured and educational. You need both. So what you did amazingly here is the image that you are speaking about or that you have stitched is quite shocking. She's had a reaction to hyaluronidase. Now you got my attention. I am ready to receive the value that you've got to bring. And in this particular video, you do it really naturally. It feels like it was a conversation with your colleague Layla. And so it was like I trust you more because you seem like my lovely GP or my aesthetic doctor who's advising me. So you are both ahead of me, giving me information, but also my friend, my guide.
I think that there's something around the audience on an unconscious level are almost as interested in how the person is reacting as to what they're actually saying. So it's this, I actually heard this from Casey Neistat years ago, which was they don't care about the thing that's happening as much as they care about the main character's interaction with that thing. They're intrigued by this person who they know a little bit on social media responding to this unique situation. The more honest it is, the more truthful, authentic, the more they'll get a real understanding of how that person actually works, which is one of the things that people are unconsciously fascinated in. So let's make this more practical. Miranda, can you give us 3 content ideas that would actually help a clinician today promote themselves?
So remembering that we need to provide value, a simple and really authentic way to do that is the green screen filter, which you can do in Instagram stories, Instagram reels, and also in TikTok. All you do is put an image behind you. So instead of your room, you now have an image. And it's so versatile because you could be scrolling social media yourself or reading the news. And for example, let's say that you saw a news item about some new regulation in the industry or a terrible botched job. You could literally screenshot it, throw it up on your green screen, and now you are in front of it talking. It's an incredibly good hook because it feels gossipy. As soon as you see that, you're like, oh, what's going on? What's he talking about? It's a bit like the water cooler effect. You want to know. Number 2 is a funny one, because don't forget that laughter is valuable. You're allowing someone to, just have a little bit of a lighter moment in their day. And we did a really funny one. It's really easy to do. It's the boat trend, which continues, even though it's been months since we did it, where we were in a boat and there's a random crow on the boat. And you're creating a juxtaposition between the belief of someone else who maybe doesn't agree with aesthetics. And the humor is in the fact that you apparently seem to be agreeing with it while you're in the boat. But really your audience agreeing with you, the implication that the person who disagrees with you is a bit of an idiot. And a third piece of content that's wonderful for bringing your audience right into the heart of what you do, but in a fly on the wall kind of way, so we're keeping that authenticity, is what in the world of marketing is called BTS, behind the scenes. All you need to do, very versatile, is put your phone up on the shelf while you inject, or while you're doing a procedure, or even while you're cleaning the clinic, or while you're setting up for the clinic for that day. Film yourself and then speed up that footage. And then pop some music and some words over it. For example, watch me create my client's dream lips. And there you go. Piece of really engaging but helpful content.
So if you got some ideas from that, there's one missing piece, which is doing just one type of content or even 2 types of content can still get next to no results if you're not using a full formula. So Miranda's been doing some very interesting research where we studied over 800 different accounts through surveys and through analysis, and we've discovered a formula that we thought was there, but now is proven because we know how many bookings those pages have been getting. So if you would like to hear about this formula, which we know works and will drive patients to your clinic, click on the link, sign up for the webinar, and join us there.